Hey guys, it's Shanda. How are you? And welcome to Shanda Says. I'm a little late with my blog. Normally I'm posting on Wednesday regarding sex and relationships, but I posted late for a reason because last week I shared with you that I was having my first mammogram done and I had so much fear about it. But what I wanted to do was I wanted to wait for my result and then share with you guys my whole experience. Now, I will tell you that I was off by about a year and getting this mammal done. And I'm going to tell you why. Many years ago, I worked with this young lady, good friend of mine, and she shared with me how her first mammal, she came back from work, she went on a lunch break, and she came back from work in tears. And I was like, oh my God, Dee, what's wrong? Why are you crying? She was like, it was a horrible experience that they had pressed down on her breast. It was painful. She never wanted to do it again. And let me tell you, just hearing that, it kind of put me in a place of, oh, I don't want to do that, especially with me having larger breasts. I was really afraid to get this mammal done. And I know better because I know how important health is, how important it is, especially as us women, that we get our breasts checked. And I have always, done the breast checks in the shower, really good at that. They have things where you can even post it in your shower where you use the soap and you palpating around, or going around your nipple, all those things, which at the end of the video, I'd like to put a link up regarding breast cancer awareness and actually giving yourself a breast exam. So back to the story. So I always had this fear. So finally, I go to the doctor. I'm doing my yearly physical, getting everything checked. My doctor says, you have your mammo? And I was like, no. He's like, look, you have to get your mammo. You can't put it off anymore. Okay, so I go and get the mammo done. So I get there, and first I want to say the place I went to was absolutely beautiful. They were so fantastic because they saw my fear because she said, are you nervous? I said, yes. I said, this is my first time. I'm afraid. I'm scared to do this. So she said, don't worry. I'm going to take care of you. So I go in the back, and it's already weird that someone is touching your breast that you don't know. I mean, who does that? So we get in, and she takes one of my girls, the first one, and puts it on this thing and slides it down. Now, I would tell you, Shonda has a high tolerance for pain. I don't know why, maybe it's genetic, but I have a high tolerance for pain. So she's mushing down, mushing down, mushing down, mushing down, and she says, does it hurt? Are you okay? Are you okay? I said, no, I'm good, I'm good. She says, okay, that's as far as we gotta go. So I'm like, that's it? I thought it was gonna be more painful than that. So she goes on to the other girl, and then she's pressing, 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 and she goes, you okay? You okay? You okay? And I said, I'm good, I'm good. And you're holding on to this thing because while they're doing the pictures, the way the machine is, you hold on. So she's pressing, pressing, pressing. And in my head, I'm going, wow, I can really do this. And at that moment, I was so perturbed with myself because I'm like, I put this off a year and a half based on someone else's bad experience. So after the lady was done, I told her about my fear and why I had the fear. My ex-coworker sharing her story, she said, listen, everyone's story is different, but most technicians are very gentle and they'll go by you. They'll go by your pace. She said, and not for nothing, girlfriend, the bigger your breasts, the less pain. Okay? And these bad boys are an H, so I really had nothing to worry about. So, okay, I go back to my doctor and he gets my report and he says, Shonda, listen, they found something. And I was like, oh my gosh, no, they didn't. And he said, well, things that they look for in terms of cancer and stuff, they don't see anything like that, but they did see some nodules and you have to go back and get an ultrasound. Now, I will share with you, when I went and got my mammal that evening, she did tell me, if we call you back, don't be afraid because it's your first mammal and we have nothing to compare it to. So we're going to be extremely thorough. So if you come back, don't get afraid and don't be upset. So with that in mind and my doctor telling me that they found whatever, I still was scared because I was like, oh my gosh. Now, me, I'm a worrywart. I have anxiety issues. You guys never see that, but my husband and my family see it all the time. So already I'm like, oh my gosh, what if I have breast cancer? What if I need surgery? I'm afraid of surgery. Oh my gosh, what about my kids? What if something happens to me? What's going to happen to my kids? I just lost my mom. I can't go through this. All this stuff, like for a week, for a week. I was driving myself nuts, okay? So finally, yesterday, I go and get my follow-up ultrasound for my boobies, okay? So the place I go to, once they finish, they give you your result right there regarding the interpretation of what they found. So the girl comes in and she's wonderful. Again, sweet technician, ultrasounds the girls, and the doctor says, okay, you're doing great. Everything is fine. I have to have the doctor come in and check. So then they check my breast at 12 o'clock, one at 9 o'clock, and the other one at 1 o'clock. Whatever that means, I guess that was the position of the nodules that I had. So we're all finished, and by this time I'm like, I came by myself because Scoop couldn't come with me. I'm here by myself. What if she gives me bad news? I'm going to wreck the car. I'm going to die in a car. I mean, my mind is going to this level. So finally she says, listen, you have these little nodules in your breast that are very common and most times are genetic, but they are consistent with not being cancerous and not being a problem. She said the reason why we had you come back is because this is what your breast is, and we need to know that. But because you've never had a mammo and we've never seen this, we always have to check it out. She said, but what I am going to have you do is come back in 6 months and just make sure everything is okay, but you have a clean bill of health. So I leave there, and the ladies don't know it, but I leave there and I'm crying on the elevator down because when I tell you, I built up so much fear about getting my breast exam done and worrying that something was wrong with me. And now I know that I'm okay. So I get home and I share with my family that I'm okay. And Scoop is just through the moon happy because he calls my boobs America's titties. I don't know why, but he calls them that. He's like, I knew my boobies was going to be fine. But anyway, I have to share this with you. It's so funny. I was so happy about my breast being okay that I'm telling everybody that I could tell that my mammo was good. And my sister was on the phone with a longtime friend of hers. I said, she's like, oh, it's Derek. He said, hi. I said, did you tell Derek that my mammo came out good? And just stupid stuff. I have to tell you, I'm in such a happy place now because now I know. And that is the beauty of getting a checkup. And that is the beauty of getting your mammogram done, is that now you know. And all the fear and anxiety, it will dissipate because there's nothing better than knowing. You know now, and in knowing and having knowledge, you're able to have strength. I am blessed to know that my breasts are fine, that America's boobies that America's boobies are okay. But the reality is that there are times and situations that it's not okay. But the biggest form of fighting cancer is prevention and knowing. So I urge you, if you are afraid, bring someone with you. Don't be scared. Get out there and know what's going on with your body. Even other than breasts, getting your blood pressure checked, getting a physical exam, knowing what's going on with your body is part of being a responsible adult. We have to do that. So I just wanted to share with you my little PSA about my mammo. I'm so happy about it. Did I tell you that my mammogram went good? I have to put jokes in it, but the reality is I love myself, and anything that I wish to do, anything that I wish to gain in my life, I cannot do without my health, and that goes for you too. So I will see you on Friday for Fat Fridays, Fashion and Talk. I love you. God bless you. And we'll talk more boobies soon. Bye-bye.